I had somebody stop me in the woods of PA before to ask, what are these little brownish red mice? You never know what is normal to you that is crazy to other people. You never know. Like, I have a friend, Fortuna in chat, Australian, and in Australia, their seagulls are small compared to ours, right? In On the West Coast, and I assume the East, American seagulls are massive. They're many times larger than a pigeon. You kind of can't tell sometimes unless you get up close. They're quite big. Like, their wingspan sometimes like 4 or 5, 6 feet. Like, they're really, really big, you know? And that to me was normal. I just always categorized them as a colossal like city bird, you know? But the Fortuna, like crazy, insane. You never know what's normal, right? Everyone's got a different normal. I'd never seen a chipmunk before. Cicadas. There aren't cicadas in the West Coast. You go to Australia, you go to like Tokyo, even the East Coast, and then it's like, oh yeah, the trees scream at you during the summer. Did you know that? Yeah, it turns out that in most of the world, the trees scream at you whenever it's hot outside. Like, it's okay. I didn't know that. That's you know how I learned about cicadas? Neon Genesis Evangelion. Because in Tokyo 3 or whatever, Tokyo 2, every time there was a summer shot, you'd hear the like cicadas. That was how I learned about cicadas. Thankfully, it wasn't hot when I went to, and you can fry them and eat them. They're delicious. Let's not go crazy. It's normal to see at least 5 gators on your trip outside in Florida. Oh, yeah, that's something people think is like a joke with Florida too. The gator thing, that shit's real. My great aunt had a house out in the boonies, like right off the border of Florida. It was like in Alabama technically, but right off the Florida border. And there was a river in her backyard, and she was like, yeah, don't fall in there, the gators will get you. And when I was a kid, I thought that was a joke because gators were only something that I saw in pop-up books where they were like a cool animal that would get drawn. And then one day I was out there looking at a bunch of red fire ants, and then I looked up and there was like a gator looking at me. It's like, oh, all right. Just casually, like 9-foot long animal, like apex predator reptile creature just in the backyard, you know, whatever. Dinosaur just right there. I just thought cicada noises were the sound of trees for the longest time. To me, that's crazy, but I can totally understand like a young person like believing that if nobody ever told them, you know? Cicadas make noise. That's all they do. They're the loudest motherfuckers in the animal kingdom. They're like crickets times a million. Mob, why are the trees screaming? Yeah, they also fly directly into your head. Yeah, I'm not a fan of that one, to be honest. Then you've not heard the hum of the locust swarm? No, I haven't, and I hope I never do. Believe it or not, gators are fairly chill. Yeah, because gators are ambush predators. They're pretty slow. Like, they're not as slow as you think, trust me, but they're pretty slow relatively. Like, they just chill in the water. And if you get close, they get your ass. But they're not gonna like charge you usually. I mean, don't like tempt them. You know, don't like hold your bare leg out like a chicken wing while making whistling noises. But they're like, if you're 20 feet away from a gator and you're both staring at each other, you're probably okay. They're not slow at all. They can be fast, but usually if they're like provoked or they just missed you and went after you. I'm only speaking from my personal experience of staring at that gator for like 20 minutes, you know? As fully like a delicious drumstick-sized individual at that time. I must have been like 9 or something. Like I was a turkey leg you get at the Ren Fair, you know? I was just staring at, yeah, like he could death roll my limb off easily. How big was it? Well, I was a kid, so to me it was like 500 feet long. Basically, it was the size of like a mountain, but I don't know. Probably like 6 or 7 feet long. Alligators don't prey on humans. We're not really ideal targets. We're tall, you know? Like we're out here. We can like hop, you know? We can get on top of them, in which case they're fucked. Yeah, we're not ideal. Yeah. We're land creatures. Yeah. We're not ideal targets. Imagine most animals probably don't want to fuck with us because we're weird looking, you know? Like even with a bear or whatever, we're like so lanky. We like all the crazy shit we can do, like wiggling around, you know? Like what would you assume as an animal if you saw a human, like just a 6-foot tall guy? Like what would its abilities be, you know? Because for most animals, it's claws and teeth, right? And then you look at us and we've got like a tiny mouth and our hands are these little weird noodle things, like you have to assume that we have some kind of like death spell, right? Which we do. It's called a Glock, right? They don't. I think that on an intuitive level, the animal must look at us and think, for that creature to have survived while having that many delicious chicken drumstick legs, that mother must have some crazy shit. That's like an electrified, like it has an ability that I'm unaware of. And they're correct. We do have an ability. I cast Glock. Yeah, they don't know what exactly it is. They're just suspicious for good reason. Yeah, if you're on top of a gator's head, they're pretty much right, because all their muscles closing the teeth, not opening it, right? So if you're literally just like pressing down on the top of its head, like you don't even have to be very strong. It's just they can't open their mouth very well, you know? It's crazy. I wouldn't try it, but that's just me. Oh no, I wouldn't try it. Yeah, they could do the death roll thing. I wouldn't do it. I'm not saying this is like an emergency. It's like when they say if a shark comes at you, punch it in the nose. As far as I know, that's the correct advice. I'm just saying don't test it. Like, ideally, don't put yourself in a situation where you have to employ that advice, you know? And that's just because sharks don't know what a punch is. A punch is not in the lexicon of underwater combat. Underwater combat is all like whose jaws open the widest, you know? Like that's all underwater fighting, basically. And then you cast fist. They're totally like, what? Blunt damage? I am weak to that. I take 2 times damage. They got tail whips down there, they throw fins. Yeah, I guess that's true. It's even debated if sharks really feel pain. I mean, I don't. I assume it's disorienting, right? You are wrong, octopus punch fish out of boredom. Have you seen how stupid fish look? I would do this if I was an octopus fully. I would 100%. If I was an octopus, I would pass my sea days like finding dumb looking fish and like giving them a little wallop, you know? Like what else are you supposed to like? You've got a long time down there. And the f***ed up thing, if you're an octopus, is that you're smart. You're smart, but you're not social. Dolphins have like community, right? Octopi don't. Octopi are just like, oh yeah, we have like elite problem solving abilities, but we just sit at the bottom of the ocean and turn into the color of sand. And then when something gets close, sometimes we hit it, you know? It's like, what you got to find something to occupy your time. They only live like 4 or 5 years. That's really sad, I think. That's really sad because squids and jellyfish kind of look like octopi in the sense that they have like a big lump and then smaller little noodles, and they can live a lot longer, right? Squids can, like giant squids can live ages, basically. And jellyfish are mortal, you know? The Puget Sound, which is the like bay adjacent to Seattle that Seattle is built on, has the Pacific octopus in it because the Puget Sound's like 800 feet deep at its deepest. So we have the world's biggest octopi here. And it's and every time I go to the aquarium and I see them, I'm like, Illithid? Hello? They just made why don't people think of Illithid the same way people think of minotaurs? Like a minotaur is a bull man, a centaur is a horseman, an illithid is just an octopus man, right? Like there's no, it's literally them. He forgot that he was him, but he was. It's like a copy and paste. It's a trace, you know? Okay, don't worry, folks. They released the octopus right after this picture was taken, okay? So no Pacific octopus was harmed in the making of this one. Look at that motherfucker. They're fine outside the water for like a sec. They're fine. You know, he just looks limp because like, what else are you gonna do? Put it back in the ocean. They did. It says in the post right here. They did. Just crazy. Last one. Just can't believe there are animals that look like. Wait. That's AI. Mother. I only saw the thumb preview. Is this? Whatever. We saw the real ones. Why do you have to AI like an existing animal, man? It's not even like making a fantasy creature or whatever. Like the Pacific octopuses are pretty common. Octopuses and octopi, I think, are equally correct. I think they're both correct. It's just like whichever trend of pluralization you want to adopt, but they're not like, there's not like a correct or incorrect one. Baby playing with an octopus? Nice. Impossible for a cat to comprehend. No, thank you, Fluffernutter. Giant squids do not live long and jellyfish don't relate to... No, I'm not saying jellyfish are related to squids or octopus. I'm just saying that they're in the category of like a weird, goopy, squishy, big blob with strings coming out of it. You know, that's all. That's it. The most tenuous possible connection. There's a very superficial link there. I know they have like basically nothing to do with each other in a evolutionary sense. You know, you'd have to go back pretty far to find the, you know, yeah, the giant squids are crazy, though. Look at that. 4 meters wide. It's 13 feet. Look at that. Without its 2 long feeding tentacles, so it'd be even longer if you had the full thing. That's crazy. Literal monsters, yeah. The fact that it's real, that for a while we only had, like, a basic understanding of their existence from the fact that occasionally we would get sperm whales that would have scars from being attacked by squids is crazy to me. Like that they would just have, they would like do whaling and get a sperm whale and it would have like the scars of a kraken attack to it. Insane. What? That's how we knew about them for a while, you know? Which is crazy. Like that's how we knew. We found they had like scars from the attack. We also speculated about them with kraken shit. I mean, they are krakens, right? Like that's what we mean, right? Like that, that's the analog. That's the parallel. There's no other animal that's more kraken than a giant squid. That's the one, you know? Yeah, there we go. That's the long feeding tube thing. This thing, see? With the big feeding tube, giant squids are like 25 feet long. 7-arm octopus. That's a weird looking one. Okay, I can see that we have pursued a rabbit hole, which I am enthusiastic about, but must regretfully pull us away from now.